I'm Josef. I'm an exterior designer in the Mini design team, and today I show you how to draw a Mini. First of all, you have to choose your tool of choice. I choose today this pencil because you can shade a little bit more, and also it's a little bit more forgiving. We are drawing a Mini hatch, so our smallest car, and we're doing the Cooper S. It's a little bit different in the front, but I will show you while I'm drawing. So, to start on a blank sheet of paper. It's always good to get in drawing a wheel, drawing a second wheel, to get a little bit the feeling of a proportion of the car. We are a little bit shorter here than standard cars, because it's a quite compact car. We have the standard Mini as a really small vehicle. We are already starting like getting the proportions right. So here a little bit of perspective. Also this little helpers will guide you through the whole process. You won't see them afterwards also, so it's just a little orientation. So we're also like building up the whole sketch. Like we have the lower body here, you have the bonnet area here, so we're already starting to create a little volume here. Maybe go a little bit lower with the wheel. As you see, you can still correct it. So, also important, start with the Y0 section. It's like the middle of the car. It's also describing the bonnet, where you go. It's quite helping. So you see already, you have a little bit of shape, and you can orientate where's the second half of the upper body. We call this area the greenhouse. Greenhouse because it's a lot of glass on a car, and it's put on the top of the body. And on Mini we have a special greenhouse. We have this black band running around, as you see already here, because we don't have any pillars. They're in black and it looks like one big black stripe. So, we have already a little bit of proportions. We have to place now the front. Starting with the headlamp, also round. And don't be disappointed if it's not working at the first try, because circles are quite tricky. And I have to say, I have this little helpers here. Use them if you have one. It's like putting a nail to the wall. Use a hammer. Why shouldn't you? Using a good proper tool for that. So we are continuing on the front grill. You see, really loose everything, really floating. And our guidelines, they're helping you. As you see, you can now focus and have fun on the lines in between. See where the lamp is sitting. Maybe we go a little bit back here. Already looks a little bit like a Mini. We are now going more in the detail. As I said, my little helpers here, I already prepared something, I guess, because I know how my wheels open. So this is like a good guess, and I think it could fit. Doing the first wheel, because the wheel is quite essential on a car sketch, especially when you want to use it afterwards. Yeah, good. You also see we increasing the line quality and also the intensity of the color, because we are creating more contrast. You will also recognize that I just floating over the paper, working here, working there. It's maybe my way of doing that. Can also focus on certain areas, but it's like keeping the whole picture under control. You see here, a little bit here. So, next step of detailing, we are working on the proportions, and quite important for proportions on a Mini, especially on our beloved hatch, is the cladding. The cladding is making the car or the wheels look a little bit bigger, because they are transferring the impression of the wheel on the body itself. So you're getting better proportions. Also a big thing in car industry to get big wheels, looks better. This is like one of the tricks you could create this effect by playing with wheelhouse themes. Here we go. And also we have a lot of round elements on the Mini. Here the headlamp. The headlamp is a quite important icon on every car, and Mini is famous for its round headlamps. And this is one of the big icons also, like the wheels sitting in every corner of the car, the round headlamp, this black band. And you have to make them a little bit nicer in this sketch here. See, there's no mistake. You can still use it. This we use for our face around the car. See, nice and precise. Okay, here we're getting the air scoop, because we are working today on a Mini Cooper S. It has an air scoop. We have also a little sculpture on the top of the bonnet. And it's up to you where you continue. Here we go. We are doing the grille. And as I said, we have a Cooper S. The Cooper S has this intakes for brake cooling that you see outside. It's not a standard Cooper, it's a Cooper S. Also on the side. Always keep a little bit distance to the paper. Don't be too focused on certain areas, because then you can see the whole drawing, and stay in control. See, or stay on your perspective. Go a little bit up, a little bit up. So it's a nice wrapping around feeling also on the detail. Air intake on the top. So we have already nice proportions. Working a little bit on the rear wheel, because we have also this theme. Now I'm making a section line. This is describing our surfaces without shading anything. And you can see already, okay, here we have a little bit of tension and a little bit of crown. Here we go up on the wheel dome, and we have a nice reflection over there. One of my favorite reflections is this little drop here, because they're quite easy. How the reflection is running here. Also giving here a little section that you know what we're doing here. So you go out, reflection, in, out, like it's the reflection of the horizon, in, here. See. And I recognize maybe I'm not so happy about this corner of the greenhouse. We can make it a little bit more upright. That's a big advantage, that we don't make too strong lines, because you still can correct it. Because we are now in the phase to make it stronger. Because our main focus is like the headlamp, the details here, and we are fading everything from this center away to the side. You can start with the main reflection also here, really soft from the beginning, running around here, it's running down. There you have a plan. Let's go to the inside. The headlamp on the Mini, we have this long hole lens in the middle. So let's draw the long hole. So ready, see, you're getting a look on the car. You know where the car is looking. Also on the lens, maybe a little reflection that you see. Okay, there's something shiny inside. Light elements on the top. Also the fun part about the pen, you can be a little bit undefined in some areas. top reflection here and there, because you have a round circular inner life, and you have like reflections from the top, from the sky, and from the bottom. They're getting into the lamp here. So we have already a nice detail here. The headlamp. That it's not so loose. We have a nice contrast here. Let's create a contrast from the top, with the top reflection. So we take care about the mirror. You may recognize that we don't have this elliptical mirrors anymore. We have new ones, more aerodynamic ones. Okay, now let's go to the rest of that corner. Here we have the air intake. And we are increasing the contrast. We're increasing the contrast on the black area. So we use our little helper to create a little bit more volume to the wheel. It's also in the focus of the sketch in this corner of the car. Also nice to fade it down to the car, that you don't have to describe a shadow right now. It's not so important. And we are focusing on the grille. It's a little bit sticking out. Always good to see that it's like a one closed volume. And sometimes certain elements can stick out, like this front lip of the grille. Because it's a good way to show the difference of certain models when you have a break in the silhouette. It's more recognizable. Don't spend too much time now on drawing wheels, because drawing wheels are really time-intense phase on sketches. And to make a good wheel it takes really long, so we're just making a kind of placeholder with 5 spokes, also quite easy, making a small ellipse, going with 1 spoke, 2 spoke, 3 spokes, 4 and 5, and you have a little placeholder, so it's not totally naked in this area. Also, how this lamp on the other side is sitting in the car, because it's not totally flat, it has a certain kind of roundness, and if you have a graphic on one side, it's wrapping around, so it's looking smaller on that area, also thinner. It's already intending that it's wrapping around. This could still quite loose because it's not our focus area. If it's not working for the first time when you're trying this, really look at the perspective lines. They will guide you through the whole thing, as I said. And main thing is try it and try it all over again. Now we are quite finished with this sketch, and you can be proud if you achieved something you liked and could learn something out of this. But as you see, we are quite black and whitish right now, and Mini is not famous for black and white. It's quite colorful. And we are heading now over to Evelyn. She's the expert in the colors for Mini, and to make this Cooper S even more beautiful.
I'm Evelyn, and I'm working as a CMF designer at Mini. CMF means color, material and finish. And me and my team, we are responsible for basically every part of the car. So from the lacquered part to micrograins of plastic parts. But of course, we also do the overall color concepts. And this is exactly what we're going to do today. So Josef showed us already how to draw a mini, and we will add some life and some color to the sketch. Before I start working on a color concept, of course I have my research phase where I will browse through the internet or check different magazines, like the standard design research. But of course I have my own treasure of memories, inspirations or impressions that I always come up with something new and interpret it my way. So go out and be curious and explore the world with open eyes, because every product around us can be an inspiration source, like the way materials are combined or maybe the textures of something, and then you can have something from the sports industry and then from the fashion industry and mix it your way, and that's your design. So on this edition I already did the research part, and here on the table you see I printed out some of my favorite colors or images that would work quite well for the edition. In this case, today we will design the Resolute edition. So we will create a new Resolute edition on Josef's sketch. That's why I printed all the green images, because we will go into a green direction. And one last sentence to the mood images. If you search for something, then sometimes it can be the texture you like on something like this, like the wall. It's just about the color. Here in this example, we have all the colors, and now you see here on this side I already selected some paint samples. This is how we work. So normally we can just review colors. Of course we need good daylight to see the color and the reflection, see if the body is well formed in the color or not. So here's our Rebel Green, which is very special because this is the John Kubo Works color only, and we can also use it on this edition, so it's very unique. So we have the sporty aspect, and now I would like to add the more elegant aspect. We have some very traditional colors at Mini as well. Maybe you know it, the Mini Pepper White, and I think they get along quite well together. And what is also very known at Mini are like our trim parts. And I can tell you what, we want to get rid of chrome. So it's also nice for us designers, because then we can have a new playground and try new combinations. On the Resolute edition we decided to go for a gold tone. So we have this very nice modern matte finish like you see here. I think that's it more or less. Now we can clean up this mess a little bit. So we have our main inspiration images, we have our body color, we have the roof color and our trim color. So the rest is not interesting anymore. All right, so now we can focus. Maybe one important detail is missing, because the Resolute edition has a very nice graphic theme. On the Resolute edition we also have the traditional racing stripes, so that's why I also printed these mood images, where you can see more or less the inspiration for the graphic theme. So as I said, John Kubo Works is a very sportive color, and the racing stripes are as well. So I wanted to bring a little bit more sophistication into the design, and that's why I used this fine pinstripes. And what you can see now is more or less the design I came up. So it's the traditional outline of the racing stripes, but we're using our gold tones and the fine lines. So I think that's it for now. We have our main materials for our color concept. I would say we go back to Josef and visualize it.
Now we go one step further, what you would do after a sketch like that. We already digitalized it, and it's already in the program. It's Photoshop, what we're using here at Mini. And thank you, Evelyn, for preparing all the colors. Now we have a base how we can render this lovely resolute edition of the mini hatch. So we are finished on this rendering. I hope you enjoyed the journey from the mini resolute edition, from a blank white paper to a complete rendering.